Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Judy and today I bring you a quick DIY. It is so easy, anybody can do this. So our last project needed a banquette seat in the kitchen nook. We had the kitchen installer have installed the lower cabinets for the banquette seat. And now I'm showing you today how to build the cushion that goes on top of this banquette seat to make this cozy and beautiful kitchen nook area and dining area. So this is all you need for this project. I needed some foam, finishing foam, a heavy duty stapling gun, the plywood cut to the measure of the banquette seat, and the fabric that will cover the banquette, the fabric of your choice with your pattern of your choice to cover up the banquette seat, and that's it. That's all for the material. I purchased the foam from Amazon. I went to a couple of stores and I could not get it at the store with the right thickness, and this foam is 4 inches thick and 72 inches long, and I got it from Amazon for about I think $25 to $30, but I have the link in my Amazon store in the description. You can see it there. And the fabric, I got the fabric from Ross. After actually I purchased the fabrics at different stores and then I settled for this design, I decided to go with this fabric, and this is a tablecloth from Ross, and the size is also about 80 inches long to it was more than 40 inches wide. So it was, yeah, so that it has to be the right size for your banquette seat. The plywood was purchased at Home Depot and it was cut to measure at the store. Just get the measurement of your banquette, the width and the depth of your banquette, and ask them at the store to cut it for you. So that's once all of that was ready, it was just easy to put this whole package together. So with all my material at hand, I just laid the foam on the floor and I used the plywood to measure what I needed to cut, how much of the foam I needed to cut out. So that's my ruler because it's already ready and cut to size. And make sure you protect your floor if you're going to cut this inside the house. So I used something to put underneath the foam in wherever I was going to cut the foam with my blade. So be careful with that. And also make sure to use a sharp blade. I use a sharp, we actually use a brand new blade for the cutting knife. And that was really helpful. So I use this level basically to support the plywood and on the foam so that it wouldn't shift around as I'm cutting it. The only thing you had to be super careful with cutting, and with like I said, with the sharper blade, it made it really, really easy, and I was able to cut through this foam super nicely. So that's this one step we got to be very careful doing. You can see my cut wasn't as neat as I would have hoped for, but it was good because it was good enough. So one thing I figured out is I could switch the side to have the most visible side, use the best part of the foam that was already pre-cut. You see, like this corner was already pre-cut and it was sharper, so it's good because I use this side to be the front facing part of the bench or the banquette, and the area that I cut is either in the back or on the side where it's really not visible. And really, after you cover it up, the bumps are not showing as much. So this is how I'm gonna have my cloth now stapled on top of the foam as I figure out how I'm laying this foam down. So the next thing is I'm just gonna put the cloth all over the foam, and because I have a pattern fabric, gotta be super careful you have to pay super attention to the alignment of your pattern. I got this pattern with straight stripes or straight lines, so it was pretty easy to follow the pattern. But if you have something in print or any other pattern that has to be aligned, you need to take some time and make sure it is very much aligned. So I just spread the fabric on the foam, figure out the alignment of my pattern, and I try to first hold these patterns in place with the corner. So I started by making the corners. I folded the corners just like you would do the corners of a bed when you make a bed. And I used my first staples to hold that corner in place. I held the 3 or 4 corners in place in order to secure this pattern, the fabric and the pattern, so it would not move too much and my pattern will stay in place. Ooh, that's good. So my corner tightened. I just knew I wanted to cover the back of the plywood with some fabric, and I had enough fabric for that. You don't have to do this, but I felt like I needed to do that because my cabinets are painted and they are smooth on the top, and I didn't want the plywood to have that friction on the cabinet over time and maybe scratch onto that and scratch onto the cabinet below it for a long time. So I just figured, let me just cover the back of the bench, the plywood side, with fabric as well, so the rubbing of the fabric will not scratch the bench. I had to cut the fabric to fit the size of the foam and also the plywood side. And once I cut the fabric, now I could tighten this fabric and staple it down a lot more tighter on the bench, on the plywood in the back as such. Because I had a lot of fabric at the bottom of the bench due to covering the plywood, so I also have to make sure that there is no bump where the fabric meets and where I'm applying the staple. So I tried to control that as much as I could, and that's it. You staple away. I just kept stapling away, securing this fabric onto the plywood. So I'm still careful at checking the pattern, making sure that my pattern is aligned even as I am stapling the fabric down on the plywood, and I'm making sure that it is tight and firm, but I make sure that my pattern is not moving too much and it's the lines stay aligned, and there is no bump. So you just keep securing your fabric. You staple it enough so it feels tight and secure enough, and that's it. The cushion is done. The banquette is ready, and I was so amazed. Like, this was my favorite part of the whole renovation. This banquette seat looks so beautiful and it's so comfortable. Like, everybody just loved this. So I'm so proud of myself, and a little goes a long way. If you want to try something, you can do it too. So thank you so much for watching. This was one of the easiest DIY I had to do. And so the space is ready. And thank you so much for watching. And I hope you get to try some of these as well. Until next time, stay blessed. Bye-bye.